Hello, this is Steve Ramona, your host for Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. I want to thank our sponsors, Infone, and with Infone, you can place your business on everybody's cell phone, turn their business into a web app, and with a click of a button, they'll have access to you 24/7. And also Pantheon.fm. Have you ever thought about monetizing and taking your podcast to the next level? Well, Pantheon can do that. Let us show you how. Reach out to Steve Ramona, the host, at infone.co/SR1, and I will go over with you how you can make your podcast really stand out. Let's enjoy the show. Thanks again, everybody. Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. This is your host, Steve Ramona, and I'm fired up. I've got a guy that's got one heck of a story, but he's a young guy. He's been through a lot already, but he's going to teach you guys how to overcome conflict, obstacles, things that can happen in your life. He's doing it at a young age. If you're 30, 40, 50, or 62 like me, we all can learn from this gentleman. Renzo, welcome to the show.
Well, I appreciate you having me, Steve.
Well, thanks. And let's start with your story from Microsoft, and, let's start there.
Yeah, let's get it started. So if anybody doesn't know me, I run an Instagram marketing agency consulting firm. My company does over 105 to 130K a month in rev and about 80, 90K a month in profit. But I wasn't always like this, right? This is like 3 years into my journey. So back when I first started growing up as a kid, I was like the basketball player, right? Like I always just wanted to make it to the NBA, make millions of dollars playing basketball. And so from a young age, I was working extremely hard. I would wake up at 4 a.m., get a workout at 5 a.m., go to school, get a lift in after school, work out again at 8, 9 p.m., and just do it every single day over and over and over in middle school, high school, etc. And I really thought I was just going to, live a life of freedom, live my dreams, make it to NBA, being famous. And long story short, my junior year of high school, I realized really, really quickly that I was only a 5'10" Filipino kid. Could only shoot, could only dribble, but couldn't really dunk, wasn't that fast. And so my hoop dreams kind of got crushed once I started having all these people I was so much better than growing up surpass me in basketball. And I realized I wasn't going to make it because I got benched my junior year of high school. And so then once my hoop dreams got crushed, I really didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. So I was still a good student in high school. So I got into the University of Virginia, one of the top public schools in America. And I just went to UVA just thinking I was going to live my normal life. And so at UVA, I was having fun my first year. I was still getting good grades and I was a straight A student. But my first year, second semester at UVA, I took a class called Intro Psychology. I didn't even need it. It was an elective and I was struggling mad heavily in that class. And so every exam I would get 70s, 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 perfect 70s, straight C's. And the whole class is graded on exams, right? So no homework, no participation, just exams. And so this is the final exam. I'm at a perfect 70. If I don't get at least a 70 on this exam, I get at least a D and I fail the class, right? And so fast forward a couple months later, it's beach week. I'm chilling with my girlfriend at the time at the beach. We're having a fun, amazing experience. And then grades come out, right? So I check my phone. I'm super excited. I'm did I pass this class? And so I see A's, 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 A's. And at the very bottom of the report card, it's intro psych. And guess what it was, Steve? Guess what my grade was?
Was it a D?
It was a D plus.
Oh.
And I was devastated. I thought nobody was going to hire me. And then in that point of desperation, when, I thought my whole career was over, I randomly came across a YouTube video that said why you should drop out of college and start your own social media marketing agency. And so at that point of desperation, I was like, why not? I'm going to try it. And so I didn't have any money at the time to hire a mentor because I was pretty broke at the time. So I just read a bunch of books, watched a bunch of YouTube videos, and I just took action. I feel like most kids my age or back in the day, they would learn all this information but never do it. But I was always the type of person, I'm just going to try it. And if it works, it's great. And if it doesn't, that's okay. And so I ended up cold emailing thousands of people, didn't get any responses, started cold calling, got a couple of sales meetings, and then I landed 3 free trial clients. But because I didn't have a mentor back in the day, I didn't actually make any money because I didn't know what I was doing. So then that was my first attempt at entrepreneurship and I failed. And after that summer, I was like, I'm done with entrepreneurship for now. I don't have time for it. Didn't make any money. And so I just kind of lived the rest of my second year just thinking I was going to work a normal job. Long story short, I got a Microsoft internship. But even though I did get that internship was lined up for the next summer, right? So right now it's about November 2019. That internship was lined up for May 2020, right? So I still got a span of about 7-ish months and I'm still broke, right? Like at that period of time, I had $34 to my name. Couldn't even take my girlfriend at the time to a Chipotle date. Like I was that broke. And so I needed to find a way to make money, but I didn't know how. So then I randomly came across this Gary Vee podcast that said why you should go to garage sales and flip stuff on eBay. And so I tried it. And long story short, let's just say I got scammed $900 on eBay because like I borrowed about $500 to $1,000 from my parents asking to do it. And let's just say I got taken advantage of as a newbie. And for whatever reason, I got scammed quite a bit of money. And after that, I thought like entrepreneurship isn't for me. I'm done. I think this whole pipe dream of making money online is just fake. It's not real. There's all these scammers. Like I'm done. Like, what am I doing? Let me just be broke and then just go to Microsoft and make money there. So then, yeah, like after that, I pretty much gave up entrepreneurship because that was my second failed attempt. But then something happened. There's something called COVID, right? Around March, April 2020, COVID happened. And so every class that I had back in college went online. Like we got told to get out of UVA, go back home and do class online. And so all of a sudden, like in college, there's a lot of distractions. Like you have your friends, you have your relationships, you have like your clubs, fraternities, et cetera, et cetera. All of a sudden, all that goes away because you're at home and you only have classes. So now I had all this free time in March, April 2020. And with all that free time, like I could have been doing computer science projects or could have been working on, extracurricular activities. But there was always this feeling, like this gut feeling in my heart that if I don't go for entrepreneurship one last time, while I have this opportunity and all this free time, like I might regret it for the rest of my life. Like 60, 70 years from now, like when I tell my great grandkids, like what I did for the great coronavirus, like what was I doing? Like, do I want to tell them I was like scrolling on like TikTok and Instagram all day? Or do I want to tell them like I built a 6 to 7 figure business and really launched my career from there? And so once I realized that, I was like, I have to go for it one more time. I don't care how bad my past experiences were. I'm going to go for it. And this time I did things the right way. So by that time, I saved enough money to hire a mentor. So I did hire a mentor. And then once I hired a mentor, I landed my first $2,000 client within 3 days and I hit 10K a month my first month. And then around that time, when I hit 10K a month, like a lot of people started asking me like for help, like, yo, like Renzo, like you were like literally just in my position. Like you were struggling, you were broke, you weren't making any money. Like, how are you doing it? And so like around around July, August 2020, I started helping out tons of people completely for free on how exactly to land clients through Instagram. And so like I would just coach people for free, never ask for $1. And a lot of people did get results, but really, really quickly, like I learned that like 95% of people, like I had like a group of like 300 people I was all helping out for free, like giving my best advice. Like 95% of people weren't actually doing what I was saying. And it was only like 5% that actually was taking action and was actually getting results. And I was like, okay, so like, what's the difference here? And it's like, what I learned was like, if you coach people for free and you help people for free, yes, people are going to say they're going to do it, but most people won't just because there's no skin in the game.
Yeah.
And by that time, like I was already kind of bigger, or I was a well-known name in the industry. And so my partner, Ibrahim, who we got connected with earlier that summer, he was also killing it in the SMMA social media marketing space, running his own 10K a month agency. And so we knew like if we partnered together, then we might be able to build something really, really special. So then we talked about partnering and we eventually did partner together to form our Instagram marketing agency, Growthology Agency, as you see today. And so once we partnered up, let's just say things happened really, really quickly. Like we hit 10K a month that first month, 10K a month, eventually went to 10K a day in the next year. And then all of a sudden, the next year after that, hit 100K a month. Then now to this day, we moved into our dream apartment last year, as you guys can see. And just overall, just living life in Chicago, making about like 105, 130K a month in rev right now, and about 80, 90K a month in profit. Split between me and my business partner, that's about 40, 45K a month in profit. And yeah, like literally like everything I wanted in life as like a kid, from like having an amazing social circle to like moving into my dream apartment, like having my dream girl, like everything I wanted in life. I feel like I've finally like worked up to the point where I've earned the right to have everything that I have. So yeah,
Yeah.
like that's like the basic story. Super long story, I know, but
No,
I
Renzo,
hope that was valuable.
and I'm going to unpack it a little bit. So first thing is, you said mentor a couple times. Listeners, that's a great lesson. He failed because he didn't have a mentor. You have to have a mentor. I know you do now, probably. Two is that you didn't give up. You
Yeah,
said that, hey, I was going to quit, done. But let me give it. There's something there. One more thing. Of course, COVID was a blessing for you.
mm,
The third thing is you gave back. You did free, built a network because you gave, you serve in heart, you served people, and look where you are today. Could you attribute your serving to part of that, the free coaching classes you gave or
oh
information you
yeah,
gave? Yeah.
100%. Like I'll tie it back. I'll tie all those things you
Yeah.
mentioned together. So there was actually one last time that I almost gave up, but I didn't give up. So I gave up obviously the first attempt with the first social media marketing agency back in summer 2019. Those 3 free trial clients didn't work. The second time, Gary V flipping, got scammed $900, gave up. Third time, trying social media marketing one last time. I almost gave up actually. So I landed my first $2,000 client within 3 days, right? So I made $2,000. But then for a span of 3 weeks, I made no money. I was like, what's going on? Like, um, I was like freaking out because at that time, by the way, around March, April 2020, like not to toot my own horn, but like I was a pretty popular guy back in college, right? I was like in a fraternity. I had like a year-long relationship back in the time. Like I had an amazing social circle. Like I had everything, and I had a Microsoft Intern lined up. So like I had everything the classic career slash college guy wanted in life, right? And but like I still had this crazy pipe dream to, be an entrepreneur and make tons of money online. So then I started posting on social media, started posting on Instagram. And a lot of people who I thought were my friends, I don't know if we could curse on here, but started talking a lot, right? Started talking behind my back, started talking a lot. And it was crazy because like I had everything. And then it's slowly started to feel like I was losing everything, right? Like my friend, like a lot of my friends who I thought were my friends were gone. Like they were just talking behind my back. Right. A lot of my fraternity brothers back in the day also talking behind my back. Like my relationship at the time, like I couldn't really focus on that relationship because I was focusing so much on the business. So it was like I was giving up everything. And it got to the point where there was this one time back in the day. I don't really like talking about like my past relationship too much, but it's part of the story is that I was supposed to FaceTime my past relationship later this one night, right? But I was grinding so hard in my business, and there was like this potential client that I thought I could land. And so I hopped on like this sales call with this like pretty famous dating coach who I was trying to land as a client. And long story short, like that call went overtime, took about like 2-ish hours, and I ended up not closing it. And then because I didn't close it, and it took about 2-ish hours, I was late to that FaceTime that I was gonna have with my past relationship. And then my past relationship is mad at me. I'm mad at myself for not closing the deal. And again, like with everybody talking behind my back, like what is Renzo doing? It was really, really tough. I was like, what am I doing? I'm literally giving up everything for no reason like this. Like, I don't know what to do. And so randomly I was connected with this one, I think she calls herself like a clarity coach. I don't know if she's still around to this day, but back in the day, back in 2020, like she was like a clarity coach, like helping entrepreneurs like really get clear, like what do they want to do. And so like I hopped on a call with this person like for free. And we just had like a really deep conversation about like what was going on in my life and like how I wanted to give up. Like I pretty much gave up everything for entrepreneurship and nothing was working. And she basically told me 3 things that really stuck with me that I still take around to this day. And this goes back to your point, by the way, about like providing value. Is she told me to, number one is pick a word that defines you and make that 100% you. So guess what word that I picked for myself?
Giving?
Kind of. I chose value, right? Like I
Value.
wanted every single person to, whoever met me, whether it's like a podcast like this, or if you're listening to this podcast, or if you meet me in person, or if we get connected on social media, or even if you just like see my content, like I just want to be known as the guy who gives out the most value without asking for anything, just trying to genuinely help you out as much as possible to the best of my ability. And so that was number one. It was like I made myself just value, right? I just want to give without asking for anything in return. And then the other 2 lessons, not as important, but it was like cutting off everybody who doesn't support you, because counter intentions kill, right? Anybody who doesn't support you and your future and your goals and wants you to win, like you can't hang around them. Like it's just not going to work. And then 3 is just like everything in life is never something that's been done to you. It's always something you learn from, right? So, like example, like all that hate I was getting back in 2020. Yes, people were talking behind my back. Yes, were people, were questioning what I was doing. But that early experience back in 2020 helped me prepare, for example, today, where like I have all like these TikTok comments and my Instagram comments. And let's say that comment section goes crazy sometimes. But because I'm so used to it back from 2020, it doesn't really affect me now because I've been, ingrained to deal with hate and to deal with people talking behind my back, etc. So yeah, anyways, going back to the original point is that yes, like the way I helped people for free back in July, August 2020, a lot of that was because I chose that word value. Like I wanted people just to know me of value. And then very, very quickly, what I realized helping out people for free is that I can't give the most value if people aren't doing this, if people aren't listening to what I'm saying, which is why moving forward, when I partnered with Ibrahim, we made sure that our agency was priced at a pretty high price so that the people we do work with and the people I am providing value with take it 100% seriously and get the best results. And if any of you guys see my Instagram and you see my story highlights, we have over 300 testimonials, results, testimonials, client wins, etc. because every one of our clients is fully 100% committed in the process because they actually have skin in the game and they're learning from obviously the strategies that we've done to grow our own business.
Man, those are great lessons. I'm 62 and it took me 50 years to learn to cut people out of my environment. And I love your story because I had to do that 10 years ago and start doing it year to year. Mm-hmm. I totally agree. You can't have haters in your group, in your culture, because it'll bring you down. And values, here you're so successful, you're still bringing value, but your success isn't waning, is it?
Exactly, right? Like I always believe like the more value and the more good karma I put out into the world, like the more it just comes back. So like it's never, a lot of people try to gatekeep and try not to put their best stuff out, but like genuinely like on my TikTok and Instagram reels and all my free content, like I genuinely just give out my best stuff without gatekeeping. And surprisingly, what do you know? Like my business grows more and more and more when I do that because now everybody follows me. I get way more attention than everybody else just gatekeeping their best stuff.
Yep. And then the referrals come. Hey, you got to talk to Renzo. Oh my God, he just gave me a tip. I just got a client from my Instagram. And that's what people don't understand. Serving is not a scoreboard. It's you throw it out there and you said it, your universe changes. And it's happened to me with this podcast. I'm so glad you're on here because you have a servant's heart. But what I want people to see, you could be a servant when you're poor, like you were. Exactly. You gave out free coaching and you weren't killing it. But you said, I want to help people, and you're still doing it today. God bless you for doing that, because that's the lesson I want people to learn on my podcast. So where's the future of your marketing company? It's growing, it's going. What do you see the future?
Yeah. So like right now, like I said, like the agency does about 105, 130K in rev, 80, 90K a month in profit. So I take home about like 40, 45K a month in profit, depending on the month. I eventually want to take home 100K a month in profit. Like that's like the next short-term goal. Yeah. And I believe that's about 300K in rev, depending on our run rate. So 100K a month in profit. And then eventually, once I hit 100K a month in profit, I want to take the business to $1 million a month. I know a lot of people say that's like crazy. And like, that's like 0.00001%. But even like back in the day, as like a kid, like I always thought like I was special. Like I was going to make it, I was going to be the only 5'10" Filipino kid to make it to NBA. Like I always had that vision. And I still have that vision today, hitting $1 million a month. So that's like the ultimate, or that's the second long-term goal. And then the third goal eventually, which might happen before $1 million a month, to be real with you, is making the company sellable. And what does that mean? It means that the company has to be able to, grow on its own, sustain on its own, and be able to make decisions on its own without relying on my personal brand, my leadership, or any decision by me. Is it anywhere close to that right now? No. A lot of it has to deal with my brand, my decisions, my leadership, my sales, etc. But eventually, I do want to get to the point where my agency is running and growing and making decisions all by itself. And when an investor sees that, then it's very, very likely someone will be able to invest a huge amount of money for it. Do I want to sell it? Maybe in the future, it could be an opportunity, but I just do want to get to the point where if I did, it would be ready to. So that's like the ultimate 3 long-term goals is 100K a month in profit eventually, $1 million a month in rev, and then eventually making the company sellable.
I could just tell you're going to get there because of how you're saying, and you're so humble, and I appreciate that at such a young age. And you have to deal with a lot more than, I know everybody goes generation to generation. It's different. It is, but it isn't. But I love the story of people that you had haters. I want to go back to that because it emotionally could destroy you. And when you run a business, you got to be at top of your game, right? You can't be down here depressed because people are sending messages like, this, that, and this, and swearing at you and killing you basically online. That doesn't help your business.
Yeah. And that's what I loved about business so much. And the reason why I chose social media marketing over example, like e-commerce or like Amazon FBA is like social media marketing requires you to really level up as a person, right? Like you have to reach out to people, put yourself out there, hop on sales calls, deliver, under promise, over deliver, build relationships, like all these people skills you have to be able to develop or else you're not going to survive. And so that's what I really love about business. It's like held me accountable to grow into like my dream person. But like back in the day when I wasn't really making any money, I always thought to myself, like, if I want to reach like 100K a month in my agency, and I learned this from the book Psycho Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz, you can't just try to hit 100K a month. You have to grow into the person that reaches 100K a month effortlessly. Like, so what was that for me when I was thinking? I was like, a guy who can make 100K a month in his agency has to be a really good people person, has to be a good communicator, good at sales, could develop a brand, get people to fall in love with like him, his message, his content, his overall purpose, and overall just be able to lead, right? Lead a team, lead his clients, lead his followers, etc. And so I eventually, 3 years later, I'd grown into that person who could do that, right? And it's all because in business, I say this all the time, like every business problem you have is a personal problem disguised as a business problem. So now, like every time I get a plateau in my business, I always think to my life personally, like, what's going on in my personal life right now? Or what personal habits, traits, et cetera, or skills am I lacking that's preventing me from reaching that goal? And so then going back to the haters, like dealing with haters is a big trait to have to reach 100K a month agency and to grow a huge audience. And so going back to the whole karma thing that we were talking about, the thing that helped me get over haters is something called the mirror of life. And there's a two-way street to this. So the first street is that anytime someone is giving you hate, right? Let's say either back in 2020 when I had all my college friends talking behind my back, it's not anything to do with me. It's always that any hate or anything negative about you is always an insecurity that person talking hate about you has about themselves, and it's projecting onto you. So it's never about you. So anytime, example, someone's talking down about me, or even like not even talking down, like anytime someone like, gets mad at me or gets sad about what I'm doing or has any emotion about what I'm doing, it has nothing to do about me. It always has to do like what's going on in their world and projecting it onto me. So now when I read all these comments, like it doesn't matter because like it's not about me. Like I just feel empathy toward the person giving that comment or towards the person giving that hate. And then here's the other thing. The beauty about this is like when I learned that part, I kind of felt it, but there's still like a part of me that was still, insecure for whatever reason. So I was like, what is like this missing part why am I still insecure even though I know it's not about me? Because there's the other way too, is that anytime that you hate on someone, anytime you judge someone, anytime you are nitpicking at other people or get triggered, as we like to call it in our 20s, you are going to have that same insecurity about that same thing you're hating on other people for. So example, like if I, am insecure about my style for whatever reason, and I'm like projecting it onto other people and I'm saying like, oh, that person's shirt sucks, or, oh, that person doesn't have good style, then I'm going to be insecure about my style when I post myself online. And I'm going to be very hesitant to be my best self if I'm judging other people. So when I truly learn to love every single human being on this planet and not get triggered and learn to love everybody, no matter what their downfalls are, no matter what they've done to me, no matter what, like I've stopped being insecure. Like I could care less what anybody on my TikTok comments or Instagram or any of my friends talk behind my back. I could care less about what they say because I know I'm not judging other people and I have nothing to be insecure about anymore.
Yeah. And I learned a phrase last year that will help me, that helps people in the audience is what you think about me is none of my business. And that's exactly what you're saying.
Exactly.
I love it. Somebody wants to find you on social media. How can they find you?
Yeah. So my Instagram and TikTok is at Renzo_Guevarra. And I always like to say, like, if you are an online business who already has an offer, already know what you're selling, but you need even more clients, that's exactly what my agency helps with. So at this current moment in time, and I believe in the future as well, I am looking for a few more people who want to grow the online business. So if you're interested, just DM me at Renzo_Guevarra on Instagram, the word grow, and I'll send you all the details to see if I could help you in the first place.
And I'll do something too. I'm going to give the first 4 people that reach out to you from this podcast a $20 Amazon gift card.
Oh, okay.
How's that sound?
Yeah, everybody say DM me the word grow, and then also DM me saying that you came from Steve's podcast, and I'll let Steve know to get you those
I'll get those out to you, because there's a lot of marketers out there, social media marketing. I've met a lot of them, but I love that you went through this struggle, came out the other end, and now you can help so many other people. You've been there at a young age. Doesn't matter. You're 23, I'm 6. Doesn't matter what age. It's that you were there and you lived it, and now you can share it with others to help them grow and bring value to both. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me like if I ever get like imposter syndrome, or like how do I know like I'm the expert in my content. And to be honest, like I'm not the expert, right? Like there's tons of people like way ahead of me. But the only thing I do when I'm, go on podcasts like this, or I talk about content on my social media, is I always talk about what I've personally done and everything I've experienced. Because I know as long as I talk about what I've done, all my pain, all my struggles, and everything I did to overcome it, then I 100% know what I'm talking about, because I've lived through it myself. And that's why I always say, like, I would never, ever talk, show, or teach someone something I've never done or mastered myself, which is why I'm fully comfortable hopping on podcasts like this, because I know I put in the work and had the journey to be able to tell it.
And your story helps others. And our podcast is, somebody's going to listen to this and it's going to help them go, man, I just failed, but I'm not giving up like Renzo. That's where we both win on this podcast. Well, we're running out of time here, man. You're awesome. I thank you so much for coming on. You're a busy guy. The background's beautiful. I keep looking at that. I got to come out to Chicago and see you someday, because I want to learn more about what you do. But with that being said, can you do me one more favor and leave? You've left us a lot of golden nuggets, but one more that's helped you through this journey of business and life.
Yeah. So going back to like the theme of this podcast, of not giving up, is like, understand, like, if you're putting in all this work, right? Like, let's say like you're running an online business and like you're sending DMs or you're posting every day. And let's say like DMs, you're not landing any clients, or you're not getting any customers, or like posting every day, you're not getting any followers, or let's say even like in general, like you're not making any money, whatever it is you're doing in life. If you're putting in all this work and not seeing results, understand that all the work you're putting in will pay off. You just don't see it yet. Like, to me, success is an exponential curve. I can't really draw it for you guys right now, but it looks like that, right? But the reason a lot of people give up is because they don't realize that this exponential curve, this period right here before you go up, is flat, right? So all the work you're putting in this period, you don't see anything. You don't see any results. And a lot of people, because they don't see results right away, they give up. But understand, as long as you keep going, you're going to hit this acceleration point, and then all that work that you did right here will get you up here. You just have to keep going and keep pushing. So it's like the classic Alex Hormozi quote. Like, I watched a video of him like I'd say like half a year ago to a year ago, that kind of summarizes that. It's like, as long as you don't give up, you cannot fail. And that quote stuck in me for the rest of my life. As long as you get to continue playing the game, no matter how long it takes, you will never fail. Because as long as you work towards something forever, you're going to get there eventually. It just doesn't matter how long it takes.